Today we're going to talk about the three kinds of leverage that can be incorporated into a business to accelerate growth. So what do we mean by leverage? There's strategies or tools that can be utilized in a business that can magnify the outputs for the inputs. And so basically 1 unit of inputs can equal 2 units of outputs, right? When we first start working, you're trading dollars for time. And so you can think of that as a low leverage activity. And even when starting a business, if you're performing all of the duties, you're going to be putting in the effort and getting the results, but there's not a lot of leverage. How do you compound that? How do you multiply that outcome? And so that's the concept for today. And you'll see with different businesses, as they're able to grow and accelerate, you can usually track it back to the incorporation or inclusion of some element of leverage throughout the process. So the first kind of leverage we want to talk about is capital leverage. We've seen this historically applied through all sorts of different businesses, but the idea being that you can borrow, say you put in $2 of equity into a situation, you can borrow $8 and therefore you can buy $10 worth of stuff. Now, whether you're a distribution company leveraging up to buy more products, whether you're a private equity firm that's using leverage to buy more companies, there's lots and lots of different applications, but leveraging capital can allow you to multiply your buying power, if you will, or multiply the bet that you can make on a particular position in an operating company or otherwise. Now, obviously, leverage comes with its risks as well, and from a capital perspective, the most obvious one is taking on debt in a situation can increase the cost of interest, can increase certain performance that is necessary to have adequate cash flow to pay for that debt. But capital, in a broad consideration, is a tremendous means of leverage that has been utilized by going back to the Rothschilds through Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, but many participants in markets to magnify the positions they're looking to take. Second kind of leverage is operating or people. And so you can think of this going back to the old industrial days or the mills of New England and the Southeast, right? It's the idea of having people that will do work at a lower cost than the revenue that their work represents. And so if you make $20 for every widget that is manufactured in a business and you pay someone $8 for every widget that they're making, then there's a spread, and that can be multiplied and compounded. And so oftentimes capital and people leverage, that's really going back throughout history, and those have been the two primary means of leverage within companies. And there's not a pejorative connotation to the people leverage element of it, right? That's how most businesses operate, is that there's more revenue coming in than is being paid out, and whatever's left over is profit. People can still be paid very well with the utilization of that kind of operating leverage or people leverage within a business. But that's category number 2. And so if you think about it, capital can be borrowed to be utilized. That's capital leverage. People can be hired and paid less than the aggregate value of what they're producing, right? And that inures to the benefit of the company, and that's kind of the people leverage. And then the third type of leverage, which is more of a modern consideration, is really software and media, is like we like to call it. And so this video that we're taping now can be watched by 1 million people. It'd be a nice day when that's the case, but nonetheless, it multiplies efforts. I can tape these videos and put them on YouTube or LinkedIn, and people can watch them and get educated and get an acclamation to our company and how we like to look at things without me having to do it. And so, or our company having to do it. And so that creates a leverage from a media perspective. From a software perspective, think of the automation of email sending. Think of the automation of any component of a business, the dashboards that simplify things, the task force management, the different sequencing systems that people have, whether it's in their CRM or in any other component of their business. And so the modern day, or the more recent, if you will, means of leverage have really been software and media. And so it's really the aggregation of these three types of leverage that can really be picked from to optimize a business and to accelerate growth. So to recap, 3 types of leverage that can be implemented into a company are capital leverage, borrowing money to be able to make larger bets on situations; people leverage or operating leverage, that is being able to hire people that can have tasks delegated to them at a lower per unit cost than the revenue generated by the activity; and lastly, call it digital software media leverage, the opportunity to put things out there, to have processes automated behind the scenes 24/7, to have media that's accessible and content that's accessible to prospective clients 24/7. And that idea is just, I think, going to further grow with AI although I think there'll always be a human element to it. With that being said, that's the thought for today. 3 primary means of implementing leverage into a business to accelerate growth. Hope the week's going well for everyone. Keep pushing forward. God bless. We'll see everyone next time.